my name's Elissa, and I'm here to share my NFP story and how I got started. So first, I'll start off with more of the nuts and bolts and the methods that I've learned, and then I'll also kind of talk about the spiritual side of things and how that affected everything for me. So I learned about NFP when I was pregnant with our third, and I think I was listening to a podcast, and I was amazed and just dumbfounded with what they were talking about, because it was talking about all the side effects and what birth control is intended to do to our bodies. And I remember just stopping the car and being like, oh my goodness, I had no idea for the last 15 years that that is what was happening. And so I went on this journey, and we actually were in a small group, and some of the gals there actually used NFP, which is awesome and amazing. And most of them were using and knew of 𝗘𝗏. And so I started asking questions about that. And then mostly actually through Instagram, I was able to find that there were actually also different methods, not only 𝗘𝗏. And so through kind of looking at that and looking at my current stage of life where I was pregnant, so I was going to be learning everything postpartum, I decided to learn 𝗲𝗏. And I had a really great experience learning that, even while postpartum. That was an adjustment for me and my husband for the postpartum period. But I loved learning about my body and like watching my biomarkers come back and kind of watching my body cycle again. And I really did enjoy that. I'd highly recommend working with an instructor, because that was super critical for my success and my understanding of the whole thing. And then probably a few months after kind of everything starting back up postpartum, I was realizing via my chart that I was having signs of low progesterone. And so the only reason that I was able to get help with my progesterone is because I was charting, which I found super empowering and super important for my health. And so I just became super passionate about all of this way of life, I guess, this way of charting and way of understanding our bodies. And then probably over the series in the next few months, more symptoms kind of came up for me. And so I decided to learn 𝗘𝗏 in case I ever needed to get like a surgery done via NAPRO technology. And so I decided to learn 𝗘𝗏 at that time. And I guess for me, so right now I've learned 𝗘𝗏 and I've learned 𝗲𝗏. And so kind of the pros and cons, or what I've learned. I think with all methods that there are benefits, and there are kind of some things that we have to put up with all of the methods. And so it's kind of just whatever is going to work for kind of the couple and then the individual. And so what I loved about 𝗲𝗏 is that it was able to give me a monitor that I was able to use, and it gave me more of a yes or no type of feel. So I kind of knew what was going on. And I love that. And I love that I only had to kind of check it in the mornings. With 𝗘𝗏, it was more kind of understanding the beauty behind why it was so detailed and what it was trying to, what information it was trying to give me through all the cervical mucus. I did find 𝗘𝗏 a little overwhelming. I think it would have been extremely overwhelming postpartum, especially. But I had waited a few months, almost a year, to learn it. So I was familiar with charting, and I was familiar with kind of that language and that rhythm of charting. And so yeah, I liked both methods, and I would recommend both for kind of either kind of depending on the situation. But then going back to during that time when I was learning about NFP, kind of on the more, I guess, integrated side of my story and my life. So when I was learning about NFP, I was still Protestant. I married to my husband, who was born and raised Catholic, and he kind of watched me go on this journey of only learning about my body and how my fertility cycle was supposed to work, but then really starting to question what birth control had been doing to other areas of my life, like my mental health and my spiritual life. And I started looking into different things that the Catholic Church had provided, like 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗵, like theology of the body. And it was something that stopped me in my tracks, because it was something growing up in a Christian home, a Christian church, Christian school, that I had never heard of, that what the medication that I was taking and the side effects that it was happening, that it could have been affecting my body as a whole being, on my spiritual life, on my physical life. And so I was kind of stopped in my tracks at that point, because I was learning that the Catholic Church had truth and I couldn't deny it anymore. And so in my kind of processing of just learning charting and kind of learning about that, I was also able to open up to the things that the Catholic Church was teaching. And that's why I think NFP is such a cool evangelization tool, because for me, it allowed me to understand my body and how it was intended to work, and the beauty behind my body as a female, and how God created it. And it also enlightened me to the fact that the Catholic Church had always stood firm on this issue, and that it was very pro-woman and pro how God intended my body to work, and that they stood firm when everyone else kind of just seemed to be going the way of contraception. And I just thought that that was just so amazing, and so so truthful that they stood by that. And so along my journey, I was able to learn more about the Catholic Church, but that one truth allowed my heart to kind of open up to the Catholic Church. And so kind of in closing, when we're talking about like evangelization and Christianity and NFP, I always just found it so interesting that we're taught that our body is a temple and that the two shall become one. But in church, I was never taught that the two shall become one, but that is affected when you're using contraception. And that I was never taught that my body is a temple, but me taking a medication that's completely shutting down an entire system in my body, my entire reproductive system, has side effects and has consequences, and has downstream issues that can happen because of that. And so what I love about NFP is that it is a whole integrated approach that you can take to your individual walk with it, and then within your marriage. And so I really encourage those who find NFP helpful to not only pass it along to your friends, but then to also take a deeper look into it and see how it can also help in different areas of your life, in your mental health, in your spiritual life, in your emotional health. And then I think it'll be really helpful. Bye, guys.